Yo, what is up, guys? Isn't that crazy that Yuki has a whole concept art panel dedicated to the bosom? I'm just saying, you know, the full booty cam. I mean, what? So what you talking about? Anyways, today we're talking about the end of season 0 in Chaos Zero Nightmare. I want to be talking about all the characters, little tier list and everything. Now, you know, keep in mind, obviously, tier lists and stuff don't really matter. At the end of the day, you know, you're playing your characters, you're enjoying them and stuff like that, you know. You got it, you know? You're playing like Amir and she's like the best character in the game for you. She's S+ tier, that's valid, you know? All I'm saying though is I'm a Tressa main, so everyone else is trash. They're not Tressa, Hugo. I mean, they're garbage. I don't actually think about that. Anyways, I want to talk about the Chaos Zero Nightmare, you know, units that we have for season 0, who I think has been the GOATs, who I think is, you know, who I think is not as strong. Kayron. Anyway, you see my Kayron video. Anyways, so there hasn't been a crazy amount of changes, but they also hasn't been. They still have labels for all the characters. Why not? Guys, can we just go ahead and like label everyone real quick? Like, I feel like, you know, like, dude, I could do this for them. Yo, Pridewin, you'll swing me like $5. I can label these for you, bro. Like Renoa, bullets, you know, discard, Rin, low cost cards, some potential AoE, you know, Amir, AoE, metallicize or whatever she uses, you know. Luke, he's like AoE, discard, like, I said Luke, I meant Lucas. Luke also is like exhaust and stuff. Owen is like extra hits and stuff like that, you know. Selena, she is kind of break. That's a good tag for her. I feel like they gotta add some more tags here. I feel like it's kind of add some more tags here. Anyways, what are we talking about here? Tier 0 right now, we have the legendary Hugo. And they added in Mei Lin, finally. They finally added in Mei Lin. I mean, Mei Lin, absolute monster. The fact that she was even in 0.5, I feel like it's kind of crazy in my opinion. I'm not gonna lie. Also, all I'm saying is I still think Kayron is not as good as his counterparts that he's with. Oh, also, one thing I should add. Okay, I know this tier list is for the Dimensional Twilight time. You know, it's the time like based mode where you have a limited amount of turns and all that. But I'm gonna be like half and half when I'm rating characters. You know, I'll talk a little bit about their Dimensional Twilight, you know, performance and a little bit of like their overall performance, like in Chaos and stuff. Because, you know, 99% of the player base definitely cares about how a character performs in Chaos way more than in Dimensional Twilight. All I'm saying. I think this mode is garbage. Why did they steal this from HSR? Why did they steal this from HSR, brother? Hello? Anyways. Yeah, I don't know why they stole that from HSR. They could have had any game mode. It could have been like Chaos. You take your save data from a Chaos, and then after you use that save data to go into like an enhanced Chaos. That could have been like the end game mode. That would have been fire. That would have been fire. But instead we have HSR MOC. Just copy Hoyo again. Stop it. Stop copying Hoyo, man. Ain't nobody want to copy no Hoyo, man. I can't. That annoys me. Anyways, though, talking about characters in here. So, yeah, DPS, Haru, I think a lot of people, I feel like Haru is, people either dislike her and then they think she's bad because they don't like how she looks, and then there's people that have actually played her and they don't like how she plays. And then there's people that have played her and they do like how she plays, and then there's some people that like how she looks and they also don't like how she plays. I've heard a lot of people don't like how Haru plays though. Me personally, I still don't think Haru should have been the first rate up character of the game. I feel like there's like 50 other designs they could have went with as the first character rate up of the game, in my opinion, you know. But that's just me. Once again, like I was saying, Kayron, I think he should move down. I think Renoa, Rin, and Haru though, I think they're solid 0.5. Tier 1. It's interesting, they moved Amir into tier 2. She was over in shoulder before, but now she's all the way in DPS because people have been using her more of a DPS with her metallicite stacks in her AoE and stuff like that. Very interesting. If we look at the support DPS here, we have Tressa and Veronica. True. I think this is very valid. These people are kind of the GOATs right here. I'm not gonna lie. I personally haven't experimented with barrel that much, but I have seen how crazy barrel does go when you retain those, you know, those shots and you hit them with that additional hit. You go bang, bang. You know what I'm saying? You just start firing on them. You know what I'm saying? Also, can we talk about like the mat situation in the game? I would love to like I recently got Veronica, right? Veronica is absolutely insane. I don't even know if people know how insane Veronica is. I'm not gonna lie. I think I want to make a video about the selector. I feel like Veronica is the best person you could get off the selector. If you're full meta Marty, I think Veronica is literally the best way you could get off the selector. Maybe Clipe right after. But Veronica is like absolutely insane. Anyway, so we were talking about Beryl. Yeah, Beryl, she goes pretty crazy, you know? She has her whole retain mechanic. She has a Pot of Greed as her guilty pleasure exhaust and then draw 3 card that you can epiphany. You can also copy this. So this is a pretty goated card. Then she also has her retains that do extra damage from her opening found. A lot of big damage there. A lot of big damage going on right there. And she's a free 4-star that we start with, and she only gets better with more dupes. Going on to Luke and Selena here. I could see Selena being 0.5. I do think, though, Selena does get kind of beat in terms of, like, passion by other characters, but I think she could go up. The thing with Selena is she's kind of like Hugo in a way, where, like, she's not doing a lot of the damage. She marks the enemies, and she's doing damage based off of your team doing damage, right? She's almost like a red Hugo, in my opinion, from what I've seen of her. I don't think she's bad in any regard, though. I think she's actually pretty good on how she plays. She has a very unique play style, and she's also able to keep like continuously breaking the tenacity of the enemy. And the more tenacity you break on the enemy, that's more free AP generation and more damage. And sometimes breaking the enemy shield cancels the action they're going to do. Very rarely, though, does that happen. So I could actually see Selena moving up. Luke, though, Luke kind of just gets beat by the other bullet characters in the game. Unfortunate, you know. I don't even know at this point if Luke will get saved by having crit, because we have crit at this point. Most people, if you're actually playing the game, you know, Luke, you can get like 80, 90 crit on this guy, because Luke, he has already the free like 50 crit that he gets from his rapid fire card, and then you can epiphany this bad boy and get even more on it. So like, the fact that we're already at that point, and you know, people still have their gauge on Luke, you know what I'm saying? He's just kind of on the lower end, is what it is. Now, obviously, once again, you could perform with this dude, but, you know, probably takes a little bit extra oomph. That's what I think about K-Ron, too. I'm just restating again. I don't hate K-Ron. I think he is very cool. I think it's some of the sickest animation in the game. But I just think he's kind of, you know, for the character, what he's got to do, I feel like he's so much build-up, and you just, like... you're not going to get there. I feel like, realistically, you're not going to get there most of the time. You're building them up for this, like... you know, catastrophic nuke, and then like, yeah, I'm just saying. Anyways, Lucas and Owen. I feel like barely anyone's even played Owen. Like, does anyone actually know about Owen, though, realistically? Like, he's got big AoE, right? So he's got some free vulnerability that he can apply. I feel like his wind charge ability is probably the best thing that he can do, because you can add extra hits to the next card. I feel like that is literally insane. But, like, besides that, I guess you don't got that much going on. Besides, he's, like, red, you know, if you need, like, a red character. His ego skill gives you damage and shielding, which is, like, pretty nice, you know? But you're not doing anything too crazy. And Lucas is kind of, like, one of Luke's best teammates, and with Luke being down, you know, that puts Lucas down as well. Then the live stream, though, they kept showing Lucas as a teammate for Yuki, which is kind of crazy. I feel like Yuki... I don't know. I don't see the world you're playing Yuki with Lucas here. Like, he's got the draw discard like Ray does, and he's got, but he's still like a bullet type of character. So like, I feel like, I don't know why you would use him with Yuki. She doesn't have any bullets, you know? And she's all about inspiration. So like, I don't know why you would play this guy with Yuki, in my opinion. Yeah, but... let me know if you guys know anything like sleeper OP with Lucas and Yuki. I personally don't think they got anything going on. If we talk about the, what is it, like the recommended teams they had going on here for Yuki, they have Yuki with Nia every single time, and then they have Nia Veronica, Nia Beryl, Nia Cassius, and then Nia and Lucas. I feel like it's, you know, I guess he's AoE damage is like okay, but you just put him on another bullet character, no? I feel like, I don't know. Speaking of this, by the way, since we're about to go into supports, Cassius is absolutely insane. If you don't have Cassius, by the way, I think it's literally worth pulling on this banner, on the Yuki banner, just to get one Cassius dupe, or one Cassius copy if you don't have him at all. I mean, Cassius is crazy. He is absolutely crazy. I wish I had the mat so I could build up this guy a little bit more. He's kind of on the back burner, level 40. As you can see, I'm very broke here. Very broke here. Like, when do we get more credits, brother? Like, come on now. Come on now. 250K. Where do they expect me to get that from? 250K. 250K. What? Come on now, brother. Man. Mika, no one needs to talk about Mika. Everyone knows about Mika. She generates a ton of AP. She heals you. No one talks about how much Mika has a bunch of trash cards, though. They knew Mika was the GOAT, so they just gave her a bunch of garbage in her deck so that she's, like, not as strong. All I'm saying. I feel like, dude, you'd never take Whirlpool, you know? Sometimes you might even want to cut Deluge out of your thing. I don't think you actually want to cut out Deluge. I'm trolling on that. You might want to cut out Blessing a Wave, though, if you get a bad Epiphany on it, you know? You get like that ultimate Epiphany or something like that. I mean, kind of buns. I feel like, honestly, Blessing of Waves, if you can't get like a 0 cost, is kind of whatever. Or if you're not playing like Tressa, so you're not getting daggers from healing, it's kind of whatever, my opinion. They're just using her as the heal bot with the extra AP. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. Yeah, the Cassius, Nia, very good, but very hard to play and very hard to execute. She has a lot of discard. She can shuffle your deck a lot as well. But I feel like Cassius can shuffle your deck easier, especially since he kind of has Nia's ultimate as a card. But Nia's, or I keep calling cards that are ultimate. They changed it finale now. But I call the ego point skill in ultimate as well. That's what I'm talking about. I'm talking about Cassius pretty much has Nia's ego skill as a card. Realistically, when you look at it, you know, he has the shuffle, which literally does like exactly what Nia's ult does. You know, discard all cards from the draw pile so that you can reshuffle all your thing. She does have the decibel thing though. I feel like no one in the game can really use the decibels right now. I don't know. Even Yuki, right? She's not an extra damage character. She's an inspiration character. Now, Nia will help you pull out those cards so you can get the inspirations, right? But she's not going to be using the decibels. I feel like we still don't have a character that can like super synergize with Nia. That would want. They need a character that's extra damage based and inspiration, and then that would be crazy with Nia. Like, I feel like Mute Accent, you always want to delete this card, right? Because like it doesn't even have good epiphanies, realistically. It just throws away your cards, which is really annoying. Most of the time, you don't want to do any of this, you know? Because if you're not a character that's scaled off an extra attack, your extra attack's not going to be doing any damage. Or the extra damage isn't worth losing whatever card you're going to discard, right? So, like, I feel like that's something you got to keep in mind a lot, too. But Nia overall is pretty solid, you know? She gets better with extra Manifest as well. You know, you get a little bit of extra bonus here and there. But yeah, that's that for Nia. Like I was saying, Cassius just a GOAT. He just draws a bunch of cards. That's his whole thing. Cassius also has a lot of trash cards, but you know, you get a nice little run going. You just cleanse all those bad boys. You know, you don't want really any of his basic cards. You definitely want his quest cards so you can get those, you know, like Full House, or like if you're playing with like Tressa, you can get the 0 cost card that does damage based on how many cards you cast in the turn. He's got a bunch of different things you can do with him. Joker is an insane card that you can just choose one card from your draw pile or discard pile and just move it directly to your hand. Very insane. But yeah, besides that, both solid characters, just need decent saves on them. And then Orlea and Ray. I feel like Ray is crazy underrated down here. Are they saying because we don't have that many Void characters? You don't even have to be Void to play Ray, though. She's a low cost. She's a low cost buffer. I feel like, I don't even know how I just took a screenshot right there. I don't think Ray and Orlea are this much worse than Cassius and Nia. I'll be honest. Because at the end of the day, right, all of the supports, they all can get gear bag, right? They all can get gear bag. They all can get attack. They all can get, you know, all of the support cards that go to controllers. So, I don't think there should be a gap in tier between Orlea, Nia, and Ray and Cassius here, to be honest. All should be like 0.5 here. Then lastly, we have shielders. Last time I was talking about shielders, I was like, I don't think there's that big of a gap between all these. I was wrong. Calliope is absolutely the GOAT. Calliope is absolutely the GOAT. There's a gap between them. If anything, I don't think Magna moves down, but Calliope is kind of just that strong. She's that crazy. I think Calliope is absolutely max juice. She is absolutely insane. She's got it all. She can give you retain. She can give you damage. She is able to carry the shield card. This shield card, the fact that you can get so many different epiphanies on it, I feel like is so broken. Where's my Calliope at? Right here. This, where's my save data? Yeah, this Outbreak of War right here, I feel like you can get so many different things on this that can make it so broken. Like this counter one, insane, not gonna lie. Counter one is crazy. Counter is really broken. You stack up a bunch of counters, you hit the enemy like 50 times, you're like 10 million damage. The fact that counter attack stacks up to 10, like what? I think I wish I had a double counter on this build, but this is probably one of my best Calliope builds right now, you know? We've got a triple Vulture Ejection, they both give Silver Veil, they're on damage increase on. No Divine Epiphany on it though, which is kind of sad, you know? No Divine Epiphany is really in this build. When I was doing this build, I was building another character at the same time, so they kind of yoinked the Divine Epiphanies, so it's kind of whatever. We have one on the Heavy Bash, but that was a random one, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, Calliope though, she's kind of the GOAT. Magna, I don't think Magna's bad, but the problem with Magna is, right, that she is only kind of counterattack. Also, wait, what's in the mail real quick? Hold up. Yes, sir, Ski, give me the 20K. I need that bad. I need that bad. So yeah, Magna's whole thing is counterattacking. So if your enemy isn't attacking you that frequently, you can do no damage at all. The difference when Calliope has counterattack is Calliope is always doing damage, and the counterattack is like a nice like bonus on it. And usually when you're playing Calliope, since she's not a counterattack, you know, like native character, you're usually just stacking it up. You have a lot of stacks before the enemy hits you. While with Magna, you're waiting because that's your main type of damage. So yeah, I feel like, you know, depends on the enemies and stuff you're fighting, but realistically, in most scenarios, Calliope is going to give you more value than Magna is. I don't think Magna's ult should be 6 costs. I was talking about this with Kayron. I feel like they have characters that scale infinitely at too high of a bar, because it's still a roguelike game, and this is a gacha game, right? Like, I think there's too much RNG for them to get punished just because they have infinite scaling, right? And realistically, Magna's isn't even infinitely scaling. Hers goes up to 10 because counterattack only goes up to 10, right? So like, while this can scale super high, I feel like you shouldn't be getting hard punished like that for it. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know. That's just my opinion. That's just my 2 cents. I don't think this should be a 6 cost. I think 5 costs maybe for this, you know? Especially since you're only hitting one person too. Like Calliope, right? She's summoning one of her Vulture Ejections, and she's also doing 300% damage, and it's a 5 cost. I'm just like, I feel like they knew that. They knew what they was doing with that, no? Calliope's literally does more damage on average, probably, than Magnus. That's just tough. That's tough. You know what I'm saying? Lastly, of Maribel. This is literally Miss Boobs. I'm not gonna lie. Like, for this whole character, that's like her whole thing there. I haven't experimented too much with this character, I'm not gonna lie, but she is also like kind of counterattack, but she does damage based on your shielding, I think, right? Something like that. I think she just gets beat out by like the other red options in the game. Like if you were gonna use a red character or if you're gonna use a defensive character, like there's just better options, you know, in my opinion. Yeah, I don't know. She has a cool wallpaper though, you know, when you get to Affinity 10. That's like, that could be S tier for some people, but gameplay wise, you know, questionable for sure. This is my take on tier list though. Oh, I was going to rate Yuki. Dude, I get so sidetracked while making a tier list video because there's so many things I want to talk about. I've been enjoying just experimenting with all the characters and see what everyone does and all that. I think Yuki is a tier 0 character. I do think Yuki is a tier 0 character. because of her inspiration draw being so, she's gonna be a very low cost character that does AoE cleave. And guys, we already know, okay, they're copying HSR MOC. What's going to be in the basin when the Yuki comes out? They're gonna have AoE MOC. That's all I gotta say. It's probably gonna be green weakness on the last floor. It's gonna be AoE enemies. Yeah, besides that, Gib out here, let me know what you think. You know, tell me if my takes are absolutely terrible or if they're absolutely the best. I don't know. Comment down below though. You know, be like, Gib, your take about character X, Y, and Z doing A, B, C, D? Terrible! Terrible! I can't watch this guy anymore. I can't. Or, oh my God, he said that? I agree. I love that take. I can't believe that resonated with me. That resonated with me. I can't believe it. But at the end of the day, like I said once again, tier lists don't matter. My opinions don't matter on any of these characters, you know? If you're making Owen go crazy, you know, you're the GOAT. Do you making Amir go crazy? You're the GOAT. Do you making Rin go crazy? You're the GOAT. Do you think Kayron go crazy? You're the GOAT. Magna, all of the characters, you know, you're making all of them go crazy? You're the GOAT. But this is my opinion on the character so far, all that type of stuff. See ya.